Good afternoon. Today's our new theme is lesson 18, tense and aspect. So I am your English teacher Lesh Vasivara. So in this lesson we will learn basic concepts of tense and aspect, simple tenses, expressed in future time and progressive aspect, perfect aspect, perfect and progressive aspects, sequence of tense rules, exercise activities. Problem is that ESL and EFL students have with tense and aspect blank filling exercise. So in this lesson we will learn about basic concepts of tense and aspect. Let's go. So what is tense? So tense in verbs expresses time. It is referenced to the moment of speaking. Aspect expresses how the speaker views the actions of the verb. Tense and aspect intersect in English. For example, she is running right now. She was running an hour ago. She will be running in about an hour. Sometimes more than one aspect may combine with tense and time. For example, she will have been walking. Same verb form doesn't mean that we will have the same interpretation. For examples, John has written only one novel since 1998. John has owned only one car since 1998. Lexical aspect. Lexical aspect refers to the semantic properties of verb. For example, whether or not an action is characterized by a duration, an end point, or change. Verbs fall into four categories in terms of lexical aspect: stative verbs and three types of dynamic verbs. Stative verbs describe states or situations rather than action. States are continuous and unchanging and can be emotional, physical, or cognitive. For example, she hates her boss. Activity verbs express actions that go on for a potentially identified period of time. The actions are constant. For example, run, swim, walk, or involve the inherent change. An example, decline, develop, grow. Atelic verbs, they lack an end point. For example, he is walking around the park. Achievement verbs describe an action that occurs instantaneously, either punctually. Example, hit, kick, bounce. Or as change of state, fight, for example. We will look at the examples. He bounced the ball several times. It is punctual. She crossed the finish line, change of state. Accomplishment verbs have termination that is logical in terms of their action, as is the case, for example, with build or house or paint a picture. For example, he wrote a book about language teaching. Tenses in English language teaching. Simple present. The simple present is represented by the third person singular S inflection on verbs. So basic meanings of the simple present. Status. Some English verbs have stative meaning. They describe status rather than actions. John looks very tired. Susan seems to be confused. Habitual action. The simple present is used to express habitual or everyday activities. He always comes late to class. General statements of fact. The simple present is used to express what is referred as general statements of fact or scientific truths. The world is round. The sun rises in the east. Future action. The simple present can also be used to express future time with some identifications of the future time. The museum opens at 10 tomorrow morning. Additional uses of present simple. The instantaneous present. The simple present occurs in the running commentary produced by a speaker to provide an ongoing account of what he or she is watching. Something passes the ball, he shoots. Smith passes the ball, he shoots. The conversational historical present. It is used to describe an action in the past. He comes in and starts shouting at the hotel clerk. He's really angry, you know. So the monk called the cops. The narrative present. The simple present narrates the plot of a movie or novel that the speaker has seen or read, regardless of the time in which the plot is set. Second act of Verdi's opera Othello takes place in the castle. Laga Olga Cassio to the Desdemona to plead with her husband Othello to restore his rank and watches him go in search of Desdemona. It is a sample. Stage and screenplay directions. It is used in directions for actors in plays. They 5. Tybalt Falls. Directions about exiting or entering the stage usually begin with a verb, for example, enter the crowd, rather than the crowd enters. With communication verbs, tell, say. He tells me that you are a talented student. Simple past. The simple past is represented by id inflection of regular verbs and by other changes in the case of irregular verbs. Basic meanings. Express action prior to the time of speaking. It frequently occurs with expressions that indicate a specific point in time when the action was carried out, such as yesterday, last week, a week ago. We started the master program 3 months ago. The simple past is used instead of the simple present in some contexts that requires a shift of tense. Reported speech. When speech is reported, the simple present is backshifted to the simple past. For example, John said, "I'm a good student," quoted speech. John said that he was a good student. It is a reported speech. Unreal conditionals. The simple past express unreal conditionals. If I were you, I would study very hard. Polite requests and questions. The simple past is often used instead of the simple present to express a more differential, polite tone. A1. For example, I want to ask you a favor. I wanted to ask you a favor. More polite. Do you want to see me now? Did you want to see me now? More polite. Exercise. Identify the meanings of the simple present or past tense in the following sentences. For example, the first one. What happened? It was the same old story. She comes in and starts chewing me about the sale I lost. So I don't like that, right? So I tell her that I don't have to take that sort of talk from her. And you know what? She says I'm right. I don't because I don't work there anymore. I'm fired. Next, if I were John, I would accept her offer. Did you want to pay for that now or later? He listened to that program on NPR every Sunday night. He seems to be perfectly healthy. Now it is your task you should find the meanings of the simple present or past tense. Let's look through the answers. So the first one is conversational historical present. Second, unreal conditional. Third one, polite request and question. And habitual action. The last one is state. Expressing future time. Future can be expressed by will plus verb, especially to express probable actions. According to the weather report, it will be cloudy tomorrow. Be going to plus verb, especially to express planned actions. I am going to give another presentation this afternoon. Present progressive is used to express actions planned for the near future, which is indicated by adverbs and other expressions of time. My wife has an appointment with a doctor. She's seeing him next Friday. Be about to is used to express actions that are going to occur in the very near future. He's about to get into the car and leave for the airport. Be to plus verb is used to express actions in the future. This form is relatively rare and is limited largely to contexts like commands. For example, you are to stay here until 10 o'clock. So, transformation. A sentence is transformed by being made negative or interrogative or through changes in the tense, mood, voice. Directions: ask one student to give you a sentence in the simple present, then ask the other students to transform the sentence into negative form, interrogative form, the simple past, and negative form of the simple past. Next aspect is progressive aspect. The progressive aspect is formed with be and the present participle. It combines with present, past, and future for forms that express ongoing actions at different times. For example, there are three forms: present progressive, past progressive, and future progressive. The present progressive, it's formed with the present form of to be and present participle of the main verb. It is used to express ongoing actions at the time of speaking. For example, I'm giving a presentation right now. She's watching a Korean movie right now. In addition to expressing ongoing actions, the present progressive can express a number of other meanings. Expressing planned future events. She's flying to Japan tomorrow. I'm taking Korean language lessons this summer. Expressing habitual actions which read verbs such as always and forever, in which the speaker expresses irritation and disapproval. For example, she's always calling me up night to complain about her husband. He's always asking stupid questions. And with the stative verbs, which rarely appear in the progressive form for a number of reasons, conveying emotional intensity. For example, this is costing me a lot of money. Focusing on change from the norm. For example, you are being very kind. What do you want? Focusing on evolving change. The master program is becoming challenging more and more every day. Providing an informal and polite tone. We are hoping that Mrs. Jennifer would be generous when she corrects grammar midterm exams. Hedging or softening a definitive opinion. I'm not doubting your word, but I heard a different story from Naima yesterday. Past progressive. The past progressive or past continuous is formed with past form of to be and the present participle of the main verb. It expresses an ongoing action in the past, including in relation to another action. In other words, often the action expressed with the past progressive at the time another action occurred. She accidentally cut her hand while she was chopping vegetables. I was writing essays when the bell rang. It also used in situations in which two ongoing actions in past were occurring simultaneously. Example, I was working on grammar exam when my whole family was spending enjoyable time on the beach. What a pity. It also occurs with the time expressions that indicates a point in time when the action was ongoing. For example, I was studying in the library at 16 o'clock. Future progressive. It consists of will followed by be and the present participle of the main verb. It's used for actions that will be ongoing in the future. We will be having grammar course at 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's also used to talk about an action that will continue in the future for a long time. Moroccan government will be fighting against bribery and corruption for a long time. So, exercise indicate whether each of the sentences is grammatical or ungrammatical and explain why. You should look through the sentences quickly. Then we will check your answers. So here is given answers, correction. You can see. Next, perfect. Perfect aspect. The perfect aspect formed with have and past participle of the main verb, which expresses ongoing action. The three tenses formed by the combination of time and perfect aspect are the present, past, and future perfect. The present perfect is formed with the present form of have and the past participle of the main verb. It occurs with a time expression of duration, for example, for 6 years, since 1999, and so on. It expresses a situation that started in the past and continues to the present. Example, I have taught English language for 5 years. It also expresses a recently completed action. Korean drama has become popular around the world recently. Tamer has just postponed Moodle excitements, which makes me happily all the day. It expresses an action that occurred at an unspecified time. He has read all Shakespeare's play. Past perfect. The past perfect tense is formed with the past tense form of the verb have and past participle. It is used for an action completed prior to another event or time in the past. The past perfect often occurs in sentences with a main clause and subordinate clause, where was clauses expresses events in the past. For example, he had already left when I arrived. It's also used in counterfactual sentences, which expresses speculations or regrets about unfulfilled events. For example, if he had worked hard, he would have passed the exam. If she had driven carefully, she wouldn't have had an accident. The future perfect. The future perfect is formed with will followed by have and past participle of the main verb. It's generally used to express an action that will be completed prior to or by some specific future time. Example, he will have read The Tempest by 10 o'clock. It can also express status that will have endured for a period of time as measured at some future data. For example, they will have been married for 20 years this summer. Perfect and progressive aspect. The perfect and progressive aspects can be used together with present, past, and future time. Present perfect progressive. It's formed with has or have been plus past participle. It expresses ongoing past action that continues up to the present. It often occurs with time expressions such as for and since. I have been taking English courses in the American Language Center for a year. Past perfect progressive. It's formed with had been plus participle. It expresses an ongoing action in the past that is related to another past action, which is often expressed in the simple past tense. This other action frequently occurs in a subordinate clause, particularly with when. He has been working on the assignments for over 2 hours when his mother came home. Future perfect progressive is formed with will plus have plus been plus past participle. It expresses an action that will continue into the future up to the specific time. The duration of the action is usually specified in a time expression with for. That time is frequently indicated in a subordinate clause beginning with when or by the time. Example, I have been studying for 2 hours by the time you arrive. So here is given exercises. Indicate whether each sentence is grammatical or ungrammatical. If sentence is ungrammatical, explain why and correct. So it will be your home task. You should do the exercise, and as an extra home task, you should do all the tasks on the Moodle platform, and don't forget to submit it. So our lesson is over. Thank you for attention. Goodbye.